Well, hey everybody, good day. Welcome to typing assignments number 3. I hope you guys had a good time with the last 2 typing assignments. And before we get into assigning the actual third assignment in the series, I wanted to talk a few minutes about some of the issues that I had and some of the issues that you had in getting your assignment into my my blog, and so I can upload it and put it in my video. Okay. One of the issues I had was that one of the persons used a PDF file, and for some reason the mobile device that I'm using for all of my image capture and my video editing, when it sees a PDF file, it treats it as a document, not as a photo. And so consequently I can't directly import that as an image into my video editing software. And so it would help me if you could not use PDFs but use JPEGs instead. Now, if you're scanning your typewritten piece on a scanner, there's usually an option in the software to select a JPEG instead of a PDF as your output format. So that would help me a lot. Now, in some cases, if you can't avoid posting it as a PDF, I can still do a screen capture from your website where you're hosting it. It may not be quite as sharp and crisp, however. Okay, so that's the one thing. The other thing is and this is probably the most serious problem I had, one of the potential participants in typing assignment number 2, he sent me a Google shortcut link. Now, Google Shortcuts is a way of shortening the length of the URL, and it is an app or a feature in Google. Well, the shortcut link that he sent me didn't work, and I went in and investigated it, and it looked to me like, so if you put a .info after the shortcut link, you can actually go in and look at where the shortcut was made, and it lists the original long URL. And I went in and took that long URL and tried going to it, and it didn't work either. So he might have had an issue copy pasting his original URL into the Google shortcut URL. Anyways, the shortcut links, if you look on the internet and do a search, you'll find that there's people that have had issues with those also. So my advice is don't use Google shortcut links unless you test your image link. So if you post an image link to my blog or my YouTube channel, test it beforehand. And by testing, what I mean is copy the link and then open up a new private browsing tab in your browser. Paste it into a new private browsing tab and see if you can actually go to that link successfully. If so, then it's okay. Okay. Another issue that people were having is some people, for some reason, can't leave comments to my blog. Now, my blog comments are screened. I get an email message in my email account that there is a blog comment waiting to be screened. I screen them all and I post them. But some people, I just didn't see any blog comments waiting to be screened. I checked my spam folder. I also went into the blogger comments section to see if they're directly in there. They weren't there either. So I'm going to change our rules a little bit about posting your URL, your link to your image of your typewritten piece. If you're having issues with posting the link to Blogger, go ahead and post the link as a comment to this video down below. So the comment section of this video, if you're having issues with Blogger, just go ahead and put the link into your comment. Now, that said, I also would like to make sure that you give me your name that you would like to be called, because I try to put the name on the title in the video so we know what you would like to be called, and some information about what kind of typewriter, just year and make, or not even the year, just what make and model of typewriter is fine. It gives us a little bit more information. And also, one other person, the same person that I couldn't get their Google shortcut link to work, I couldn't find a way to contact you, because when I get the comment in my email account from Blogger, it's not coming from you, it's coming from Blogger. So there's no way to reply back to you. And I was unable to find an email address directly, except for you, I found your Flickr account and I used Flickr Mail to leave you a message, but alas, we were unable to connect in time and get your piece uploaded. So And if that's the case, in the comments to this video, perhaps I can reach you that way. But anyways, one other issue I had was one of the pieces was an Evernote file on Evernote's website. And I was able to capture that and save it to my mobile device. It opened up as a photograph and looked normal. Looked perfectly normal. But when I imported it into the video, it was scrambled. All the letters were scrambled, almost like it was kind of an encryption or something. So I had to go back to your Evernote page, and I had to do a screen capture of the piece from there. So I don't know what's going on with Evernote, if it's some kind of a file protection protocol or something. But anyways, I had that issue. Okay, one other issue I might want to talk about here is, so I'm using this so-called Ken Burns effect when I'm presenting your typewritten pieces. It's a scan slowly scans from the top of your piece down to the bottom. And because of the transitions I do between the pieces, as you get down toward the bottom, it kind of fades out, and you may have to pause the video to read the bottom part of your piece before it transitions to the next section. And that depends upon how much border you give on the bottom of your typewritten piece, how much blank space there is. Some of you had adequate blank space so that as it scanned down and did a little fade out, it was plenty of time to read the whole piece. So if you can, try to give a little margin in the bottom and the top, not so much the sides as long as you don't cut off the words, but a little bit on the top and bottom, especially the bottom when you do the scan. And I can crop in a little bit if I have to, but I can't add extra room on top of it. And then one other point is, I did not make any attempt to alter the brightness or contrast or image qualities of any of the images you sent me. Part of that is I really thought that I was going to treat it as photography, in a sense, that however you wished to present your piece, I would leave it at that. Some of them were a little bit low in contrast, and I could have bumped up and adjusted the contrast and the clarity of some of those, but I wanted to leave them as they are. So if you found that your images were a little bit maybe dark or maybe low in contrast, try to bump that up in your post-production or your editing software, your photo editing software, before you upload it to your hosting website. Okay, so for typing assignment number 2, I did a little bit different thing with the video edit. I did a montage of all of your pieces in the order that you posted them to my blog. And I put a little title section, a 5-second title before each piece with your name and what typewriter you used. I was lucky enough to have the typewriter information for all of your pieces. So that's one of the reasons I'd like you all to give me that every time. That way it'll be consistent. And then I gave you all 35 seconds, the same exact amount of time for your piece to scan from top to bottom. And hopefully that's adequate speed, not too fast, not too slow. The other change I did with this second video was, instead of me ad hoc talking through them as a voiceover and then doing a recap at the end, I thought it was better just to do a recap at the end. And the reason why is I may not present the same amount of time for each, like I may have more to say on one than the other, and I want to give everybody about the same amount of time just for fairness. And so it's difficult for me to do that as a voiceover without running over into the next person's piece. I don't want to have the next person's piece being shown while I'm still talking about the previous one. So what I did is I put music down on the whole montage, and then I talked about it in one continuous go afterwards, and I hope that was adequate for you guys. It does make the video a little bit longer for me. It was 35 minutes, and I realize that's a little long. So it was like something around 15 minutes worth of the actual montage, so roughly 40 seconds per piece, and you know, then I did an extensive talking over it. And I know that music I was playing, I don't have an access to very much music on my little mobile device. And so that was the only one I could find that was even partway adequate. So if the music bothers you, just mute it. Turn it off until the end of the montage. I apologize otherwise for that. And then if you have any particular feedback with some of the changes I did to the style of the video between first and second assignments. If you see something you like that I did, then tell me in the comments below, yeah, do that again. Or if not, tell me, I liked it the other way better. So let's reiterate the rules here. Post your image of your scanned piece to the blog article accompanying typing assignments number 3. Or if you have a problem with Blogger, post the link in comments below on this video. And try to have your piece in by 8 p.m. next Sunday evening, Mountain Time in the US. And by the way, I did get a few extra pieces after that into Monday morning, and that was okay because I hadn't started the video itself until then. But as I explained in the previous video, I know this is a headache for some people to get a piece out in less than a week's notice. I apologize for that. But we're going to continue with this weekly pace if we can. These are one-page pieces, and I hope you guys find that satisfactorily. Okay, for typing assignment number 3. I originally was going to do a different subject matter, but my wife and I were talking at lunch today about my grandson who has a favorite place to hang out with his friends that overlooks the city at night. And we started talking about hangout places when we were young. My wife had a place that they called the Tree where they used to go to. And so I thought it would be a fun assignment to have you guys write a one-page description about where was your most popular place to hang out when you were young, and maybe something about who were the people you hung out with, maybe some interesting accounts of who they were and what happened. But anything interesting about where you hung out as a kid or as a young person, that would be fun to hear. Maybe you are a young person and still hang out. Go ahead and write about that. So that's going to be typing assignment number 3, is youthful hangouts. Hope you guys have a good time with this assignment, and until next time, we look forward to your results. You guys have a good time writing. Happy typing. Take it easy.